Howdy there, folks. Welcome to the Dusk to Dawn Saloon. If it's your first time here, thanks for stopping. If you're coming back again for another round, we always appreciate the business. Hey, did you know that Michigan, for decades, it was actually illegal for a tavern to light up a beer sign inside of their building? Silly, right? Well, while the rest of America's watering holes were glowing with Hams, Paps, and Blatt signs, Michigan bars had to keep their signs dark. Most were made unlighted. A lot of people assume this was just a quirk of the 60s. The truth is, it went much further back. So pull up a stool, crack a cold one. Let's dive into one of the strangest holdovers from Prohibition. When Prohibition ended in 1933, Michigan wasted no time creating the Michigan Liquor Control Commission. The MLCC was set up to make sure that alcohol didn't swing back into the wild free-for-all that existed before Prohibition. Lawmakers were nervous about alcohol advertising. They also didn't want bars turning into billboards for the biggest brewers. They especially didn't want flashy lights tempting every passerby to come in for a drink. So the commission passed a whole series of rules, many of them carryovers from the temperance mindset. One of those rules banned illuminated advertising inside licensed establishments. That meant no glowing neon, no lighted up clocks, no backlit signs, none of the stuff that we love looking at, right? Well, if you wanted to advertise beer inside of your bar, you were limited to paper, tin, cardboard signs, stuff like that. And even those had to be unilluminated, and they also had to be smaller than 22 by 28 inches. Well, by 1954, the ban on lit signs was still firmly written into the administrative code, and it stayed in place through the 1960s. While other states were filling their taverns with the warm glowing signs, Michigan bars look different. They're dark. They weren't as fun. Inside, you'd mostly see, again, the cardboard, tin posters, maybe some small chalkboards up on the wall. Well, over the decades, the rule never went away. In 1979, the regulations were reorganized. The rule was renumbered as R-436-1313. And it was tweaked a little in 1994, and then they touched it again in the year 2000, but the heart of it stayed the same. Inside signs for alcohol had to be unilluminated. So, for more than 70 years, Michigan held on to this quirky restriction that dated all the way back to the end of Prohibition. Well, finally, in 2004, the Attorney General of Michigan, Mike Cox, he issued an official opinion on this. He said the rule banning illuminated signs, it was unconstitutional. It violated the First Amendment because it restricted commercial speech without good reason. Well, from that moment on, the bars, taverns, and restaurants across Michigan, they could finally light up the place with beer signs. Just like the rest of the country. Well, after decades in the dark, Michigan taverns, they could finally have that amazing glow that we all love. This is an odd piece of Michigan history, and it's more than just a legal footnote. It shaped the world of breweryonic collecting, because bars in Michigan, they couldn't legally use the neon signs or lighted beer signs for so long. Fewer of them survived in the state compared to like neighboring states like Wisconsin and Ohio. For collectors, that makes a Michigan sign a little bit more rare, a little bit more special. It's definitely more interesting. So the next time you flip on a beer sign in your collection, remember, if you were in Michigan in the 60s, you'd be breaking the law. This was a Prohibition hangover that I just can't believe lasted until the 21st century. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed this strange little tidbit of Michigan history. It's now for the final toast. Once again, I want to thank you all for stopping by the saloon. Please like, please subscribe, share this video with your friends. I really appreciate all the support, and by doing those things, it really helps us along. Well, here's a special toast going out to this odd little story I've got. To bright lights, cold beer, and leaving outdated laws where they belong in the dark ages. Cheers, folks. We're going to see you all next time. Have a great one.